back to another video with Fight Night Picks. Coming up this weekend, we have a big-time bantamweight clash between Aoriqileng taking on Camchida, Cameron Else. And listen, I'm getting fired up. I should get fired up due to the fact that Aoriqileng, his nickname's the Mongolian Murderer, and it's probably the most aggressive nickname in all of MMA.
Course.
Can you think of a more aggressive nickname in combat sports?
I can in combat sports history, not right now, but I think the Axe Murderer does take the cake for most aggressive nickname of all time. And the fact that Wanderlei Silva fought in the manner that he did, I feel like that one's the most fitting personally.
Wanderlei murdered with axes and for Aoriqileng with Mongolians. But no, we started off this week's full card offering by offering up the fact that we try to be as honest as possible. So listen, if it's a good week, if it's a bad week, we let you know. If we make mistakes, we let you know. That's why we're making this video.
Exactly.
Because listen, on the UFC's website, the UFC's press release, it said flyweights, and I'll throw it up there on the screen, Aoriqileng, so on and so forth, Cameron Else, yada yada. It's a press release, and Tapology had the fight as a flyweight fight, and everybody assumed it was a flyweight fight until we put out the original video. And then I got a few DMs saying, Craig, but you know this is bantamweight, right? So I threw it in their face. I said, no way! No, it isn't. I know better than you. And then I checked the UFC's website, and then it said bantamweight. And then I checked UFC stats, and it said bantamweight. And then I checked Tapology, and whoop, they pulled the old switcheroo. Now it's a bantamweight. So then I went on a trail of listening to Cameron Else's interviews, and at the headline of his last interview with All-Star Sport, Plotnikov did the interview at Syndicate. It's, I'm a big 135er, and I knock out. So pretty good stuff from Cameron Else. And if you happen to catch that individual video, I said, listen, pretty much played it up as Aoriqileng has all of the advantages at 125, though his fights pre-UFC were at 135, successful at 125, the fight of the night against Jeff Molina, UFC 261, his last fight against Cody Durden, definitely didn't gas, won that second round in that one. And Cameron Else, he had never fought at flyweight throughout his entire career, fights at bantamweight, featherweight, and lightweight. And at the very end, I said, well, if this was at 135, I would pick Cameron Else. But this is at 125. I'm taking Aoriqileng. Matt, I know originally we talked a lot about that fight, and I'd like to kind of recap it for the people that are new and fresh to this matchup. But Aoriqileng, Cameron Else, this is an interesting one because pre-UFC, Aoriqileng was finishing everyone.
He was.
Now he looks like, not a decision machine, but he's tough AF. He goes out there and throws a lot of volume and also accepts a lot. And Cameron Else, 10 of 10 wins that you see out there, all of them by first round finish, including a win over Barstool's own Paddy Pimblett?
Activity and output are really going to tell the story on this fight, because for Cameron Else, we did talk about that a lot in the original video. He's going to be massive for flyweight if he is able to make it down to that weight class. And even at bantamweight, he's not going to be like the biggest bantamweight out there, but he's going to be close to it. Because like you said, fought at lightweight, fought at featherweight, fought down at bantamweight. This is the lightest he possibly could get, really, if we're being honest. Like, the fact that we did kind of think he would be able to make it down to flyweight is kind of funny, because he is going to be very big at this weight class. But the activity is going to be a big issue for him. He's someone who will throw a lot in single shots, and he will try to rely a lot on his knockout power. And the thing about Aoriqileng is, you're right, he does work a lot on his own output, but he does stand in the pocket for that 1 or 2.5 seconds too long. And we all know what happens when you're fighting a guy like Cameron Else, who does have that devastating power punching in his arsenal. He can catch you with a really big counter shot if you're not really minding yourself defensively on the inside. So I think Aoriqileng can still have the same kind of success at this weight class. I just think he's going to have to fight a much more intelligent fight. Now, has that really been his story throughout the UFC so far? Not really, I would say, but I still think he has all the tools to beat Cameron Else. I do think this being up at bantamweight is going to favor Else, of course, because he is the naturally bigger guy, and Aoriqileng, like you said, has fought at flyweight, had fought at bantamweight, but again, I do expect Else to be the bigger guy in this matchup. I still think the output of Aoriqileng is going to be a big X factor, and I do think this fight's probably going to be one of those fights where Aoriqileng will be winning, possibly until he's not. He might be landing 5 punches for every one Cameron Else is. He might get a takedown early on in this fight. Because I know that was another big talking point that we went on about a lot in the first video, was that both these guys, pretty good offensively with their own takedowns. Both guys struggle defensively with some of their takedowns. So I am curious to see who's going to shoot first and who will be able to secure that first takedown in this fight.
And we talked about some fighters coming onto this card. Dean Barry's one of them, taking on Mike Jackson. A lot of people in the comment section, you guys went the longest on that video over the others. You know why? Because it's fun. It's a lot of fun. But when you look at a guy like Dean Barry coming into the UFC, level of competition, not all that great. For the man himself, Camchida, you look at it, 18 and 17, the totals of the opponents in that 10 fights that he was able to win. Apart from that, again, we mentioned it, he did come in on short notice, representing England to take on Kyler Phillips. He was replacing Bakary Dana on very, very short notice. And if you look at it for Cameron Ellis, he was one of those guys that really started to spend time in the States 5-6 years ago. I gained that out of the interview he did with Sasha Plotnikov. Kind of got the call to come in to the BMF ranch, train there with Cerrone, train at Jackson Wink. Some things moved around. He ends up going to Syndicate, really falling into place. Luis Cosce also on this card out of Syndicate. But I was really interested to hear he was booked in a fight against Aaron Phillips last year. And we just kind of speculated as to why that fight fell through. We didn't really have a good understanding. In the interview, he says the week of the fight, he was anticipating the visa, and then the visa didn't come in. So ultimately, he's able to get that down. It's not like he was away due to injury, and he's looking to come in and shine and make an impact. And for Aoriqileng, we talked about it. I mean, this is a guy that came into the UFC. He was one of the UFC Performance Institute winners over in Shanghai. So you had Liang Na, you had Aoriqileng, you had Shayilan Nordambeka, you also have Rangju as well. And listen, I mean, again, a fight of the night against I'd say a blue chip prospect out of Glory MMA and Fitness, Jeff Molina, even though Aoriqileng got dropped twice in the second round of that fight.
That was a great fight.
He did rally back a little in the third round of that one. And against Cody Durden, unsuccessful round 1, unsuccessful round 3, won the second. So when it comes to this one, we have a look at the odds, and I was kind of surprised. I mean, Aoriqileng opened as a -160, he's a -240. He's actually up around a -250 right now, as of 2 days since we filmed the original video. And for Cameron Ellis, open a +140, and he's somewhere in there around a -200. We have a look at the Tapology votes. I can't remember what they are, so it's a surprise to me as it is to you, Matt. I'm going to say over-under now that Aoriqileng's a -240, 250 favorite. I'll say 70% Aoriqileng.
I'll say slightly under.
It's slightly over. So 952 total votes, 75% Aoriqileng, 71% by decision for the 25% that have Ellis, 61% by decision, 19% by knockout. So when it comes to this, again, I said it at the start of the week, if it was a bantamweight, I'd take Ellis. We both took Aoriqileng, so now what are we saying, I guess?
I'm going to stick with the Aoriqileng pick. I still think his output is going to tell the story of this fight, and you're relying on Ellis to land that big shot, or maybe get a big guillotine or something, while Aoriqileng might go for some kind of a big takedown. I really do think that his cardio is going to be the X factor in this one, so if Cameron Ellis lands some big knockout shot, I'm okay with being wrong on this fight, but the prediction will be with Aoriqileng.
I love Aoriqileng's output. I love his cardio, too. Like, the guy is down to bang, down. He's like Kyle Bochniak. Like, he's just never going away, eating a ton of shots, and just standing in the pocket. And when you're taking on a guy that's bigger, hits harder at bantamweight, and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, I do have to go with Cameron Ellis here. So at bantamweight, like I said at the start of the week, which is 2 days ago, I'm going to go with Cameron Ellis now that this fight is at 135. So now all of a sudden, split on the pick, it makes it more interesting. And we apologize. We issued the correction, and I threw it up there. It was in the UFC press release. I'm doing my best out here. So you let us know down below in the comments section who you have in this video. And Tanner Boser, Alexander Romanov, that fight is off. Boser is out. So, in the meantime, if anything switches up, you know with Fight Night Picks, you're going to get that updated
No, he's fighting Chase Sherman.
Chase Sherman is fighting who?
Alexander Romanov.
Well, now we have to do it.
I know. You didn't know that?
No.
Sorry, I thought you knew this. Yes, Chase Sherman has re-signed with the UFC for the 9th time. And now he's fighting basically like Kurt Angle in the WWE. So that should be a really fun fight. That's a tough draw for Chase Sherman. I think we can all agree on that much. So stay tuned for that prediction video. I know we're going to have a lot of fun making that one.
Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, as we always say.
Let's get into it.